As a CEO and business owner, you should be running your family better than 99% of normal people out there. There's 3 things you're doing in your business that if you applied it to your family would turn it from frustration and disappointment to one of motivation and truly feeling supported, and in the end would help you in your business even more. When my wife and I decided to have kids, we essentially went from just being 2 in love cuddle bugs to getting pregnant with our first child, starting 2 new companies. 3 months after giving birth, we found out we were pregnant on the second one. We decided to move twice in a 2-year period. To say that our life was hectic would be an understatement. One of the big things that we had to come to a realization around is that we needed to synchronize. We needed to talk. So now every week we get together. We have a very structured meeting that I want to share with you that allows us to feel in sync. Here's how it works. So I'm going to break this into 2 parts. The first part is who you should be meeting with every week. And the second part is what's the agenda, the 5 core areas that I use in my mind when I'm talking to make sure I cover all points. So the who is, first off, your partner in life. Second, if you have kids, you should probably meet with your kids. My other favorite area is brothers or sisters, and then also your family members and your parents and your friends. Think about the folks that matter a lot to you and make sure that you have at minimum a 15-minute conversation, or even better, maybe an hour meeting like I do with my wife. Now, here are the 5 agenda items we go over every time we meet. Number 1 is we talk about our wins. I want to know where she's winning at. I want to share my wins. I want to set the tone of this meeting. So 3 wins is the first place we start. The second is we rate our role. See, I think most relationships end up not working out because at some point there is a fracture. Over time, that fracture gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and by the time they realize they're as wide as the Grand Canyon, standing on the edges of the cliff, wondering what the other person is thinking and doing. So if every week I ask my wife, how am I doing for you as a husband? Rate me as a husband. It's out of 10. Maybe I'll get a 4 or 5. Maybe I just did something that really upset her, and I've got to be on the receiving end of that feedback. I listen, I hear, I ask, could you provide any more information? Could you explain that? But the cool part is the only response that's appropriate is thank you. That's it. And then she asked me that same question. It's something we look forward to because we have an opportunity to express ourselves in a way that doesn't feel like we're attacking each other, and we're genuinely curious on how we can become better for the other person. Number 3 is calendar review. We'll always review the next 6 weeks of our lives. What's going on for my wife, what's going on for me, trips, travel, workshops, events, client meetings, people flying in to meet with us, just as an opportunity for us to review and see if there's things we can do to make that experience better. The most important thing to figure out in that part of our meeting is what's going on the weekend. If we're in a rush, we always do at least the weekend, then at least 2 weeks, but preferably 6 weeks out. So we're never feeling like we're responding to information that we weren't aware of. Too busy people, things can get a little crazy. We need to synchronize and make that happen. Number 4 is our scorecard. First off, we measure our financials. I'm a big fan of teaching my wife how I manage all the investments. I want to make sure that she's always in the loop with what we're doing and she never feels like she doesn't know where anything's going on. The other area is our core values. So as a family, we have core values and we use those to guide us. So we always measure ourselves on a weekly basis. How are we showing up in society? How are we communicating that with our kids? We score ourselves. And then finally, we look at the core goals that we've set for ourselves each quarter. So scorecard is really a way for us to stop, measure, get a quantitative feedback loop on how we're doing in regards to the way we want to measure and show up. Number 5 is discussions. Whatever areas to discuss and have conversations around, we always just list those in. Both my wife and I have access to a Google Doc, and we'll go in and add items to that. There might be stuff around screen time, but also the projects that are going on in our lives. We're buying real estate. There's all these bigger type of activities that we use as kind of a catch-all to bring the other person up to speed. That is how we do it. If you want the link to the weekly agenda, just click the link below, go download your copy. That's my gift to all of you. So that's how you keep a pulse on your relationship. But the next section is the rhythm that you need to follow, and that is where the real magic happens. Number 2 is quarterly retreats. We run 3 quarterly planning sessions every year, and then the last one is annual planning for the next year. Back in the day, it just got really hard trying to both be driven entrepreneurs, have little babies, and be there for each other. And eventually I thought to myself, why don't we run the same quarterly planning that I do in my businesses for our lives? And that quarterly planning rhythm, getting aligned, has changed everything for us. So here's the format for those retreats. I break it into 4 key areas. The first one is we review. We look at the previous quarter and we ask ourselves, did we enjoy that? Would we do it again? Did we feel overscheduled? Did we feel like there wasn't enough stuff? The first thing we always do is reflect on the previous period, review that time to take those learnings into the next section. Number 2 is we set goals for the quarter or for the year. And this is personally my favorite because it gives us a chance to sit down and dream a little bit. What's possible? What can we create around our health, our relationship, our business, all different areas. And it's really fun because we look at both professional, our businesses, our careers, what do we want to do? And then also personal, the relationship we want to have with our boys. Are there other people in our lives we want to get to know better? Do we have enough time to recharge for ourselves? And we put both of those categories together. We spend individual time planning, and then we come together and we share it with the other person and see if there's opportunities to support. Number 3 is the schedule. I have this template that I teach people that has the whole year on one page. And we can take all of the different things that we're planning to do and we plug it in using color coding to denote different things that are personal or family stuff. We put it all in there. We start to plan the calendar. And then the last part is conflicts. I'm trying to see if there's any dates that overlap, commitments we've made to other people. And I'm always asking myself, would I regret not doing this? So that if this was the last year of my life and that's all I had, I would feel really good with that time spent. So I'm always looking at the calendar and I'm negotiating and I'm collaborating with my wife. And we're literally co-creating a regret minimization strategy around our personal and professional goals. Now that you have the plan, you need this next step to make sure this whole thing works in a weekly cadence. About a dozen years ago, my wife and I went to Montreal for a couples event. I went there because I wanted to learn how I could be a better partner for my wife, etc. And what I discovered is there was a fear, a real fear, that I may go on this journey of self-improvement and growth and leave my wife behind. Here's what I learned, and it changed everything for me, is oftentimes when we're climbing the mountain, we have this desire to reach down and pull people up. If anything, we want it for them more than they want it for themselves. But you gotta understand, the person that's on that journey, they're looking up at you going, I don't know if I can keep up, and I feel like you're gonna grow so far that you're gonna wake up one day and not wanna be with me anymore. What we wanna do is we wanna hold space for our partners. If we try to pull them up the mountain, essentially in that constrained form, there's no light, there's no nothing to get inside. And instead do this, hold the space for your partner. And that changed everything for us. And it allowed us to understand how to create alignment, specifically using the MVB framework that I want to share with you guys now. So the MVB framework starts with mission. It's very important that we have a North Star. We have a direction that the whole team or your family is aiming towards. Because what I learned a long time ago is we don't get the life we want, we get the life that we focus on. And if we don't have a clear mission for where we're going, then it's easy for us to feel confused and not really be intentional. So every family should sit down and be deliberate around the mission statement for their family. Here's the one for Renee and I. As a family, we want to inspire other families to pursue a lifelong journey of exploration, personal development or growth, and accountability in order to better serve their community and family. Having that mission statement allows us to show up and play full out aligned with our bigger purpose. The second part to the MVB framework is vision, and that's all about the destination. Where are you trying to end up? The intentionality of it, deciding I want to be personally an epic husband for my wife, independent of how she shows up. See, most people say, well, my partner needs to meet me 50-50. That makes zero sense. It's not 50-50, it's 100%. You show up at 100% of the time, all the time, not requiring anything, and you will see your whole relationship transform. So here's my personal relationship vision for my wife. To live in a place of love and gratitude, compassion and adventure for my lady. To make her needs mine and give unconditionally. To feel her radiance and beauty at every moment. I'm just gonna encourage you to sit down and just think about it. What would you want to aspire to for your relationship? Write that down. Make a commitment to live that as much as you can every day. The third element of the MVB framework is values. See, in business, I hire and I fire against our values. The difference is in our family, we use it as one opportunity to catch people doing great things, what I call bright spots. When my children are doing things that are aligned with our values, we recognize that. And we want to catch people doing awesome stuff and we want to use it to correct them. So here are our core values in the Martel family. We prioritize, essentially we put family first. We appreciate, we love and support each other. We talk, we communicate in positive ways. We bond, we have fun together, quite a bit of fun. We believe, we love God, ourselves, and each other. We impact, we love and serve others. We overcome, we do hard things, and we move. We are healthy and active. Use these for inspiration, but Better yet, sit down with your family and ask them, how do we want to show up? What do we believe in? What are the values that we would die for? And come up with a handful that maybe you already have, you just got to formalize them, but take the time to be intentional about your values. So that's how you run your family like a business. Now, if you want to learn more about how I schedule my day as a multi-million-dollar CEO, then be sure to click the link on screen and I'll see you on the other side.